40, 50 years, I blanked it out. I denied it because I did not want to remember it.
There's something hidden, and I think that may be the case with a lot of people here, that we suppressed a lot of things.
I knew I had a bad cough of some kind. I'd been running around the house coughing all over the place, and my mother said, "It's no good, we'll have to take you to the doctors." My mother was horrified because, TB had a terrible name then.
Oh, we had x-rays and TB, my spine. So they said me to come to the sanatorium.
I came here when I was about 18 months, and I was hospitalised then till I was about 7 and a half.
It's a strange feeling coming back.
It's a very strange feeling. It's very, very bad memories. Very bad memories. Going through that main door, it still gives me shivers, because you knew once you went inside, you didn't come out.
And when I saw the place, when I got out of the whatever type of transport it was, I thought, that's not a hospital, it's a castle.
I came in with my mum, right? We came in an ambulance. Went in, and my auntie was with us as well. My mother was there, and the nurse took my hand as soon as we came to the doors, and up the stairs, went up some stairs into the ward 2. She put me into bed, undressed me, wherever, put my nightie on, sitting in bed waiting, no sign. And it's all older children in the ward, so yeah, 12, 13. I was there, and the nurse guy started crying. What are you crying for? This way they talk to you, right? It's very strict. What are you crying for? I said, well, my mummy. Oh, your mother's gone home. You'll see her next month on visiting day.
Obviously, the nurses had other more important duties to do rather than look after a screaming child. So she put a harness round me and fitted me to the bed. And I just had to get on with it. I had to cry until I was all worn out of crying, That was my introduction to Craig-Y-Nos.
I was told you're going into hospital for 3 days, and I was given a lot of new toys. The toys were taken off me the minute we got in there. They said, you don't need them, you're not going to need them, and you certainly don't need a doll, you're too old for a doll. So everything went. Though they did keep the doll, but I never touched the doll. It remained on the shelf, and I could just look at it.
So the following day, here comes this my new bed. That, one of them. But from my feet to my head. Laid me flat down in it. There's cotton wool on it, cotton wool. So I laid on that. And then he said, right, you go out into the balcony now.
In fact, that was probably the best bit about Craig-Y-Nos. I was one of the snow children. We lived outside, and the arrival of snow was always a great sign of excitement, because we'd have green tarpaulins to cover our bed, and rain when it rained, because the rain would come in, and we'd have green tarpaulins which we'd tie and make tents over our bed.
Did you never would have gone up on the roof then?
No.
Oh, we did.
A rebel you were.
Yeah, we used to go up on the roof.
No.
One of the odd things is that during a changeover of staff, there was a gap when there was nobody in charge, and we would play and we'd run down the banisters. We'd slide down the banisters, things like that, because it was just half an hour gap between the changeover.
So you had to eat all your food. And they didn't know that we'd discovered a loose floorboard. And I could go around collecting all the things they were supposed to eat and hide them under the floorboard. So I played the system and won.
My bed was placed up on blocks, 12-inch blocks, and depending on how ill you were with the height of these blocks, some people had 4 inches. I had 12. Some people had 18 inches. And the beds were tipped up like that. They were tipped up, and you had to lie on your side and not move. And they had propped you up with pillows so you couldn't move. I mean, you'd wake up in the morning and you'd wake up to the sun and the mountains and everything. Whereas if you're in the ward, there was absolutely nothing in the way for your eye to rest on. The walls were nothing. There was no curtains. Walls were blank, and the idea was, that putting stuff on the walls would lead to infection. It was basically like being in a prison if you walked into it.
And I could turn my head sideways a little bit like that and see what was happening to the other children. I'd see them come round with trolleys, right? And there'd be all these pipes and tubes, and child in the next bed be screaming, doing what he'd done.
One morning, another horror was awaiting me. I went inside and there was a chair facing the window, and she closed the door behind me, and there were already 2 other nurses in there. One had a rubber tube thing which she was checking over for some reason. And then the nurse on my left, she started to explain what was going to happen, and I couldn't really take it in, but she must have been saying things like, "We've got to put a tube in your mouth." And she held me firmly because she realised I would start fighting it back, fighting her off. She got the tube down my throat, and I just started shuddering. Like, I remember, it was like a shiver from head to toe. I was shuddering. And they then put a tube in the end of the hose and poured a jug of water into it. And they had to retrieve some of the water then to test, to see how serious your TB was. So I was turned over onto my side, and they turned me over, and they siphoned out some of the liquid into a jug. And then they used that then. I don't know what, I wasn't concerned what they did with it. I just wanted to get out of there. And they just tidied me up a bit and mopped me dry and took me back to my bed. And when I was struggling, I remember thinking how far away from home I was. I was thinking I'm probably 100 miles from home, and I'm on my own.
Night before I went home, they took my plaster cast off me, my little plaster cast, so you can have a bath. I had one for 3 years. So I had this bath, beautiful. The sister bathed me, then she'd stand up in the pamper, she would dry you. There's a big mirror at the side there. And I can remember looking in the mirror like that. I thought, oh my God, look at that, my back. My back had gone deformed. I said, I can't go home. I said, I can't go home like that. Nobody play with me. Look at me. And she was going, Pamela, be glad you're alive.
My overriding memory of Craig-Y-Nos is the radio. In the day, in the middle of the night, the radio would go on. Housewives' favourites, Max Bygrave's Vienna Girls Choir. And, what the hell is all this, Any road. And only as a result of reading a book that I realised a child in the glass house had died. And the beds made such a squeak when they were taking them to the mortuaries to put the radio up. And it seemed to, well, in my mind's eye, a natural, regular occurrence. I hadn't given Craig-Y-Nos, much thought at all. And then we came up here, and I looked up and saw the glass house. And I just lost it. I just lost it.
Seeing all this plasterwork up here must have had an effect on me, because I chose to go into the trade where I could make some of that myself.
I had 2 children, which the doctor said we know, but I went ahead. I took my irons off. The doctor said no, but I went ahead. My mother said no as well. And I listened to myself, like my father said, how do you feel about it? And if I feel so good, yes, fair enough.
You know what they say, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. Because really after that, you know, nothing that life could throw at you was as bad. You know, you learn to survive.
And that is giving us all such a sense of, grit and determination. And there's not one of us. They say, well, me, you know, nobody feels sorry for us. We don't feel sorry for ourselves. And we all know there's so many millions of us off. We've been here. It's made us what we are, good or bad.
Gofyn lwyf yn galon hapus, calon honest, calon lan,